Good morning, dear students. So, today we are prepared to read the chapter The Ailing Planet Green Movement's Role by Nani Palkhiwala. Yesterday, in the previous video, I had discussed about the summary and a few questions and answers. Now, today I'll be taking up a few important paragraphs from the chapter and I would explain it to you. The questions that you will be getting would be the questions based on the extracts as well as short answer questions. Okay, so keep watching the video. Thank you. The following article was written by Nani Palkhiwala and published in the Indian Express on 24th November in 1994. The issues that he raised regarding the declining health of the earth continue to have relevance. So, this article by Nani Palkhiwala, who was the jurist, Indian jurist, his article has relevance. It continues to have relevance even today because we are able to see that the health of the earth is still declining. Though we are making efforts, the whole human race is aware about the declining health of the earth. We are doing our bit, but it is not enough because at the same time, simultaneously, we are continuously destroying the resources on this earth. So, the author, he says that one cannot recall any moment in world history which has gripped the imagination of the entire human race so completely and so rapidly as the green movement, which started nearly 25 years ago. So, the author wants to say that no movement, there were very many movements started in all over the world, but the most important, as the title says, the green movement's role, that is the green movement, plant more trees, awareness about the declining resources, all these this kind of movement that was started for afforestation and shunning the deforestation, or this movement was the biggest movement which has gripped the entire human race. No other movement in around the world has taken the awareness of all the people, all the whole human race. In fact, and this green movement in 1972, which was started, the first nationwide Green Party, which was founded in New Zealand. In this paragraph, the author has said that when all the human beings on this earth realized and became aware of the deteriorating condition of the earth and the environment or the ecology, then they had changed their mechanistic view to a holistic and ecological view of the world. Holistic and ecological view means taking into consideration all the natural resources, and this view that has changed from mechanistic view, that is only using the resources of the on the earth, has been stopped, and it has changed into a holistic, that is taking care of all the resources, and this change is irrevocable means which cannot be reversed. So the human race, the human mankind, has started moving in one direction, that is to save the ecology. Now you know what is ecology. That is the all the living species on the earth along with the natural resources is the ecology, and we need the ecological balance to be maintained. It is a shift in human perceptions as revolutionary as that introduced by Copernicus, who taught mankind in the 16th century that the earth and other planets revolve around the sun. So human perception has to be as revolutionary, that is there should be a revolution in the thinking of the people, in the perception of the human beings, that they should change their attitude completely towards the natural resources. And you know how Copernicus changed the thinking of the people of mankind in the 16th century. He told the people that it was the earth and other planets which revolved around the sun, because before 16th century people believed that sun revolved around the earth. And that is how there should be a solid step to be taken to change the mentality of the people. For the first time in human history, there is a growing worldwide consciousness that the earth itself is a living organism. So here you can see that the earth has been compared to as a living organism, an enormous being of which we are parts. It has its own metabolic needs and vital processes which needs to be respected and preserved. So these are very important things, that we need to respect and preserve this earth or the resources on the earth. Now, why has the author used the title The Ailing Planet? Ailing means somebody who is suffering, somebody who is in pain, somebody who is lacking something. And here the earth is lacking good health. Good health means the resources. And in fact, the resources are giving way to pollution and various other problems. The earth's vital signs reveal a patient in declining health. That is, declining means deteriorating every day. That is, it is not improving. In fact, the health is falling day by day. We have begun to realize our ethical obligations to be good stewards of the planet and responsible trustees of the legacy to future generations. Now, this is a very important statement from the author. He says, we have started realizing that our ethical obligation, our moral duty to be good stewards, we should be good stewards of the planet. Of this earth, we are the servants. Stewards means one who takes care, one who is a servant who takes care of something. So here we people on this earth are good servants of this planet. That is how we should behave. And responsible trustees of the legacy to future generations. At the same time, we are the trustees. This earth is given to us and trusted that it would be kept in good condition for the coming future generations. The concept of sustainable development was popularized in 1987 by the World Commission on Environment and Development. In its report, it defined the idea of development that meets the needs of the present without compromising the ability of future generations to meet their needs. That is, without stripping the natural world of resources future generations would need. So, the sustainable development, that is, sustainable development means development should happen, but there should be less destruction of natural resources. In fact, we should not destroy our natural resources, because the coming generations would need them, and we cannot just destroy them completely. So development that meets the needs, that is or needs of the present people should also be in a developed condition without compromising the ability of future generations to meet their needs. So at the same time, we have to take care that the future generations also are able to survive on this earth with all the resources. One of the early international commissions which dealt inter alia with the question of ecology and environment was the Brandt Commission, which had a distinguished Indian as one of its members. Mr. L.K. Jha, the first Brandt report, raised the question, are we to leave our successors a scorched planet of advancing deserts, impoverished landscapes, ailing environment? Inter alia means among other things. Scorched means burn the surface with heat of fire. So, the most important question that was raised is that, are we to leave our successors? Successors means coming generation. If we spoil destroy the whole earth or the resources on the earth in this present time, then what will the coming generation or the children who will grow up into adults, what will they do? And if there are no resources on the on the earth, and if this planet becomes only scorched, burnt completely of advancing deserts, that is, if there is deforestation continuously going on, then there would be deserts and nothing else. Impoverished landscapes, that is, landscapes in the poor condition, without much of fertility of the land, and ailing environment. So what are we going to do if this will be the condition for the future generations? Similarly, Mr. Lester Brown, also in his thoughtful book The Global Economic Prospect, points out that the Earth's principal biological systems are four: fisheries, forests, grasslands, and croplands. So all these four principal biological systems should be saved, should be conserved and preserved for the future generations, and they form the foundation of the global economic system. In addition to supplying our food, these four systems provide virtually all the raw materials for industry except minerals and petroleum derived synthetics. It has been well said that forests precede mankind, deserts follow. Precede means coming before. So before mankind came on this earth, forests were already there. So forests preceded mankind, but what will follow? Deserts. The world's ancient patrimony of tropical forests is now eroding. Erosion, you know what is erosion? And from that word erosion comes eroding at a rate of 40 to 50 million acres a year. And the growing use of dung for burning deprives the soil of an important natural fertilizer. To solve this condition, the World Bank has estimated that a 5-fold increase, that is 5 times increase in the rate of forest planting is needed to cope with the expected fuel wood demand in the year 2000. James Speth, the president of the World Resources Institute, said that the other day, we were saying that we are losing the forest at an acre a second, but it is much closer to an acre and a half to a second. So James Speth, the president of World Resources, means that the loss of the forest or deforestation rate is more than afforestation. We are not planting more and more trees as the number of trees are being cut down. A 3-year study using satellites and aerial photography conducted by the United Nations warns that the environment has deteriorated so badly that it is critical in many of the 88 countries investigated. So this is the United Nations observation through the satellites and aerial photography that the Earth's condition is becoming critical. There can be no doubt that the growth of world population is one of the strongest factors distorting the future of human society. So it is but obvious that overpopulation is another reason for the deterioration of the Earth's health. So first was, that is, the destruction of the principal biological resources. Second is overpopulation. It took mankind more than 1 million years to reach the first billion. World population around the year 1800. By the year 1900, a second billion was added, and the 20th century has added another 3.7 billion. The present world population is estimated at 5.7 billion. Every 4 days, the world population increases by 1 million. Industry has a most crucial role to play in this new era of responsibility. What a transformation would be effected if more businessmen shared the view of the chairman of DuPont, Mr. Edgar S. Woolard, who 5 years ago declared himself to be the company's chief environmental officer. He said, "Our continued existence as a leading manufacturer requires that we excel in environmental performance." That is, whatever industries are set up, or the manufacturers should take care of the environmental performance also. That is, the environment cannot be ignored. So this you must have, this is a very common term these days. You must have heard people saying environment friendly. Anything you go and buy, they say, yeah, this is environment friendly. This is what is the concept, that we need to take care of the environment. But are we doing the needful? Of all the statements made by Margaret Thatcher during the years of her prime ministership, none has passed so decisively into the current coin of English usage as her felicitous words, "No generation has a freehold on this earth. All we have is a life tenancy with a full repairing lease." In the words of Mr. Lester Brown, we have not inherited this earth from our forefathers. We have borrowed it from our children. So these are the statements made by Mr. Lester Brown and Margaret Thatcher. Margaret Thatcher said that we are having a life tenancy. Tenancy comes from the word tenant, kiraidar. We are the tenants and we have the full responsibility of repairing it. Repairing lease. We have to do the repairing business if we destroy that. So we are the tenants here. We are not permanent residents of this earth. We are only tenants, and therefore she says that no generation has a freehold on this earth. You are not freehold owner of this earth. You are just tenants. Tenants because you will pass, and the other generation, next generation, coming generation will be the other tenants. So similarly, in the words of Lester Brown, he says that we have not inherited this earth from our forefathers. Forefathers, our ancestors. Our ancestors had also come on this earth, lived on this earth, and they have not passed down the earth as an inheritance to us, that we can use it any way we like. In fact, we have borrowed it from our children. It is not from our ancestors. It is something that we have borrowed it from our children. That means forefathers. That is something that we have borrowed it from our coming generations. We have to keep it intact. See, when you borrow something from somebody, you have to take full care of it. So don't think that you are the inheritors of this earth from your forefathers. You have to remember that you have to give it back to the coming generations, and they are supposed to be using it or living a life of comfort on this earth. So this is the chapter all about. So now you must have understood why does Nani Palkhiwala call the earth the ailing planet. This is the appropriateness of the title. It's a very, very grim and serious situation or a condition of the earth that we must take care of. The earth is an ailing planet, suffering one, because the signs of the earth connected with life necessary for staying alive show that the earth is a patient in declining health. Its deserts are advancing, landscapes are being impoverished, and environment is ailing. Thank you.